I'm Gillian Youngs. I'm a professor of creative and digital economy at the University of Westminster, and my applied research is mainly to work across the startup sector, looking at how innovation happens, how innovators are supported, and increasingly recently I'm connecting in London to the investor sector, who are quite recently, but it's been a gradual curve, getting more and more involved in areas related to social innovation. So I'm interested in social innovation as related to broader issues of empowerment. I've worked throughout my career with women and working with digital technologies in different ways to build communities, to build advocacy, and to network and form knowledge co-creatively. More recently, I've done some project work related to the role of creative arts and design approaches to support innovators and develop innovators, particularly as sustainable innovators. In other words, people who will innovate again and again and again, and who will cope with failure very well. And one of the interesting things in a project called Fusebox 24 that I worked on was the benefit that innovators found in the work that we did with them, using very straightforward, in some ways, arts approaches and creative arts approaches to getting them to work together, and maybe one of them was to build a joint sculpture together. So it kind of tests your capacities to be co-creative. And we got them to reflect on what those processes, how useful they were to them in thinking through their propositions. And then we did lots of things with them, working with them individually, through mentoring, through self-reflexivity, about how they were developing. And they stressed that there was a strong correlation between the group work, if you'd like to call it that, the creative group work, and the individual work they did in actually helping them hone their propositions and be more effective, they felt, as innovators. And I found that very powerful in terms of the way we think about social innovation internationally on digital innovation, of being convinced that we're only at the beginning of the learning curve about innovation. Actually, the word is now very generic and very widely used, but I'm excited about the granular meanings of it, and the Digital Social Innovation Initiative and the kinds of projects it's supporting are looking at this hybridity that exists across all areas of social challenge, as well as economic health, which isn't just about productivity, it's going to be increasingly about sustainability. And I think we need all the imagination we can get into the sector and into the innovation ecosystem, as we might call it. And I'm excited to think there'll be new voices there, and I think the DSI initiative will really help open up policymakers to that. So there's some radical changes for policymakers. They need, I think, to think about interdisciplinarity very widely. I'm suggesting that creative arts and design need to be part of that. Design is powerful because it was very important in the industrial era. It's very familiar to STEM. Science understands design. It directly deals with values. It can deal with values of all kinds, and it deals with process. So you can actually use design to help you innovate in very complex ways, and it's very inclusive. So I think that's part of the challenge for policymakers, getting creative arts and design right in there. And I think also really realising that they're still working with quite an industrial model of the economy. They haven't even really transformed it into a digital model as a model of the whole economy. And that now, as my title of professorship indicates, it's very much a creative and digital economy, I think.